Hey everyone, welcome back. Happy Monday to you all. Bitcoin was up, miners were up for the most part as well. So we'll take a look at what's going on with the Bitcoin and miners price action today. We'll also take a look at miners revenue over the last 3 months, 12 months, and versus their market cap. What is that multiple on those? We also have strategy buys more Bitcoin. We have other things that we want to talk about as well. Two more things, one with NVIDIA and one on just excuse me, miners as far as megawatts and what they're getting valued for that right now. That was from Mr. Siegel there. We'll take a look at that and we'll get into Q&A. So it should be pretty easy. Not much happening with the miners. Not a lot of news stories whatsoever. But as always, you guys know the drill. Not financial advice. For internal only. Do your own research. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously and doesn't cost you a penny. But it does help the channel. So if you guys could do that, I would appreciate it. All right, let's take a look at what's going on with the markets really quick. With Bitcoin and everything else, was up higher today. Then it came back down halfway to where it was. But we still finished out in the green, so we were up today just a little bit. We were up approximately 1%. We finished out at 84,190. We are still battling with this 50-day simple moving average line right here. You can see that it's been coming down here, and we're battling with it right now. We're up above it just a little bit and small smidge on it right now. We are up 0.68%. We're at 85,174. Definitely want to see us close above that, get above it, and then possibly battle with the 200 simple day moving average going forward. Break it above that, battle with the 100 simple day moving average, and get above that, and then go back to new all-time highs potentially. But yeah, so Bitcoin was up. Miners or markets were up as well today a little bit. Things are kind of calming down a little bit, I think. I think the tariffs and everything else is kind of settling in on people right now. And I think also a lot of people are just exhausted right now. It's been a very tumultuous couple of weeks here with Bitcoin and the markets in general and tariffs and everything else that's happening in the world. So I think people are just exhausted a little bit. At least that's what I'm seeing here. Not only on X, I'm seeing that also on the YouTube channel here in the comments. It just seems like people are tired. And rightfully so, maybe. It's exhausting the way things have been going right now. So we got Bitcoin up, which was good. Most of the miners were up today as well. Bitfarms was up 2.16% on the day. BitDeer was actually down 1% roughly. Cypher was up just a little bit, 0.83. Cleanspark was up 3.73%. It was up like almost 5% at one point during the day. CORZ was down just a little bit, 0.14. Hive was up just a little bit, 0.68. HUT was down a little bit, 0.49. And then we got IREN being up 2% here, 2.13. Mara was up 3.52 as well. That one was up higher as well, kind of like with Cleanspark a little bit. It seems like, both of these guys are more pure play Bitcoin miners, and they seem to be doing a little bit better here than most. Riot was down just a little bit, 0.71. Wolf was up 3.78% here on the day. That one was the best performer out of all of these guys. MicroStrategy was up another 3.82%, right? They came out with news that they bought more. We'll talk about that here shortly. Galaxy was up 3.47 here. What else we got here? Coin was up a little bit. We got some other ones. GME was up a little bit. Small miners. Annie, for some reason, was up 12% today. And then we got Argo was down 0.12%. Bit Digital was flat on the day. DMG or Digihost was up 7.29%. That one has been on a nice little run here. Well, not really a run. I thought it was up higher than this, but it's at least flat more or less. DMG was up 4.83. This one's been on a little run here. Mawson was down 5.46%. Can was up 10% on the day. And that's the ETFs were up just slightly, 1%, 2%, more or less across the board there. So we'll take it, right? We'll take any kind of green that we can get on these things. On it. Let's take a look at some of the stories that we do have here. We'll take a look at Bitcoin here first. Bitcoin right now is up 2.58% in April. We got roughly, what do we got left? About 15 more days or so to go in April. Tomorrow's tax day. So I had to pay a lot. I sent my checks out today. Not a happy camper having to do that, but it is what it is. Next here, we got this story from NVIDIA. So somebody's calling this a Trump effect. NVIDIA just announced it will produce NVIDIA AI supercomputers entirely in the United States for the first time and produce 500 million of AI infrastructure in the United States over the next 4 years. So that's great to see that. We're seeing obviously more and more of these companies, whether it's NVIDIA, Taiwanese Semiconductor as well, bringing some of the manufacture over the United States as well. That's a good thing, right? At least for the United States to be a little bit less reliant on foreign countries to provide those things, especially we've seen what happened in the pandemic, right? A shortage on everything. So it would be nice to have that stuff being made here as well. And then we got Matthew Siegel here. Like I said, if you guys don't follow him, you should definitely follow him. But here's what he said. We would also highlight that many Bitcoin stocks trade at an implied enterprise value per watt of power excess below $1 per watt. And we have witnessed several Bitcoin to DC data center repurposing transactions with a present value in our view above $5 per watt, Morgan Stanley. And here's a chart that he's showing there. So the kind of light orange, whatever you want to call this, yellow, kind of, I don't know what color that is, but it's assets optional and under construction. So you're talking about watts there, basically. So this is implied enterprise value per watt for Bitcoin stocks. Assets at all development stages is the blue number there. And you can see here that Hut 8 is like at, I don't know, maybe 40 cents per watt right now. Applied Digital is about $1.30, $1.40 for current stuff. CORZ is at about $2.30, somewhere around there. You got Galaxy at about $1.50. BitDeer right now, looking roughly at like 70 cents, something like that. Cypher Mining is also right around like 75 cents. Bri Blockchain is probably also like 75, 80 cents. IREN is down at 50 cents. And then let's see, Marathon is all the way at like $2.15, something like that. So you are seeing a much lower valuation from what they would think that they would get for like $5 per megawatt, right? Based on Morgan Stanley, at least. So are these stocks undervalued? Yeah, they're undervalued for sure, right? A lot of these guys aren't even being valued for their operations in Bitcoin, let alone for their potential with HPCI as well. So just wanted to point that out to you guys. Something definitely interesting here. So I think there's definitely a lot more upside potential with these guys, not only with those, but others as well. And we'll take a look at some of the revenues over the last 3 months, 12 months on the miners and compared to the market caps and what that multiple is. And the MicroStrategy here has acquired another 3,459 Bitcoin for a total of 285.8 million at an average price of around 82,618. So sailors continue to buy, which is nice to see here. I don't think this guy's ever going to stop buying. He wants to hodl as much Bitcoin as he can. And so far, they have achieved a Bitcoin yield of 11.48% year to date, 2025, as of 4/13. So that was as of just yesterday. So strategy now holds 531,644 Bitcoin, acquired for approximately 35.92 billion at an average price of 67,556 per coin. So, yeah, I mean, wow. Imagine if other companies were doing this as well. We'd be sitting on Bitcoin probably around 500,000, if not higher. But we'll get there eventually, in due course. Eventually, I do think we'll get Bitcoin above $1 million. Whether that's going to be in the next 5 to 10 years, nobody knows. But we will see it play out for sure, at least in our lifetimes. I would imagine that that's going to happen. All right, so that's the stories that I got here. Let's take a look at the only thing that I have for you guys is on the miners market cap situation here right now. So we'll look at the market cap for the guys right now as it is. As of today's market close. So Mara has the largest market cap here, double pretty much of anybody else here. They're about 4.4 billion in market cap. Riot's about 2.4 billion right now. Core is about 2.16. Cleanspark is a little bit higher than that, 2.18 billion. And then you got BitDeer 1.3, IREN at 1.25. Hut is at 1.1. Cypher is at 882 million. Bitfarms at 454, and Hive at 232 million right now. Shares outstanding. Bitfarms has the most, 553 million, followed by Cypher 361, then Riot 350, Mara 345, Core 306, Cleanspark 280, IREN 218, BitDeer 165, Hive 155, and Hut 893 million there as it is. All right, so when we look at the revenue here over the last 3 months, so we're including basically January, February, and March, right? And we're looking at their market cap right now. What is that multiple of that towards their market cap? Bitfarms comes in the lowest here at 7.1 right now. Hive at 8.3, IREN at 8.9, Cleanspark at 12, Cypher at 15, Riot at 17.2, Mara at 21.6, Core at 32, BitDeer at 39.7, and Hut 8 at 61.6. So Hut 8 is definitely still getting a little bit of a premium there, it seems like, based on the revenues that they have on Bitcoin mining. Yes, they have revenues also from other things like managed services, hosting, and other things as well. They have some HPCI business as well that they're getting money from that right now. 12-month revenue market cap multiple, we're getting Hive now being the least, having the lowest multiple, 2.2, Bitfarms at 2.3, IREN at 3.5, Cleanspark at 4.1, Cypher at 4.9, Riot 6.3, CORZ 6.6, Mara 6.9, BitDeer 9, and Hut 8 at 11.6 times their multiple. So I like to look at this as well on the monthly timeline just to see where they're doing based on this, and it kind of definitely shows you which ones are getting less value for that. I mean, if we maybe a good idea would be also to take out the HODL position here on some of these guys and then see what the market cap would be if you take out the HODL on it, right? What would be the multiple at that point? Something interesting, something to look into. All right, and then here's the 3 months revenue. Mara came in with the highest revenue over the last 3 months, 207 million, followed by Cleanspark at 182, right? And I mean, look at Cleanspark here, by getting only a 12 multiple on the revenue. Riot 143 million, IREN 141 million, CORZ 67 million, Bitfarms 64, Cypher 57, BitDeer 33, Hive 28 million, and Hut 8 only 18. But then you see this, right, where it's kind of juxtaposed, whatever that is. I can't say it. All right, we're gonna skip over that. But you can see the difference, right? How they're being valued here based on the revenue from Bitcoin mining, which I'm not including the other stuff in here as well. 12 months revenue, same, kind of plays out the same way more or less. You got Mara at 652 million, Cleanspark 538 million, Riot 392, IREN 358, Core 326, Bitfarms 202, Cypher 179, BitDeer 144, Hive 105 million, and Hut 8 only 98 million there. So definitely much different from what we're seeing the multiples getting on their market caps right now as it is, right? I would expect Mara to be getting a better multiple based on their operations, based on the HODL that they have, which they have a lot of HODL. I would expect also like Cleanspark, IREN, even Riot as well to be up higher along with Bitfarms and even Hive potentially, just based on the revenues that they're getting there and the low multiples that they're getting. So some of these guys you could look at and go, yeah, these guys are probably way undervalued from where they really should be. But something to consider, something to look at on it. And then here's all the data that plug in, pull, extract, and multiples and everything else that goes into it to do these kind of charts here. So interesting to take a look. But that's all I got for you guys today. Not much happening. It's been slow here. Things will probably pick up again when miners start to provide some more quarterly results for Q1, which will be happening here probably in the next 3 to 4 weeks. We'll start reporting on that as well. Other than that, that is it. We'll get into Q&A right now. And then as always, if you want to have access to my spreadsheets, that's link is down in the description for that. A couple $1 a month, and you have access to it. All right, let's get into Q&A. We'll call it a day. It's going to be an easy one. Let's see, where's my, I don't want that one. I want this one. I want the Q&A. So let's get into that. As always, if you guys could preface the questions with a question mark or a Q, I'd greatly appreciate it. And then I'm going to work my way up and work my way down as well. We'll see what kind of questions we got. All right, so let's see here. I see a question here from Anne. Question, did you hear about class action lawsuit against Bitfarms? I keep getting notifications from my bank when I looked at my trading account. I have seen that, and that is based on, what is that based on? I've seen some law firm asking to get shareholders to be part of this class action lawsuit. It's based on some numbers that were changed, I think, a couple years back, and they're complaining about that. That's the only thing I know about it right now. Let's see. Heinze is losing hope by the day. Don't lose hope. Things will turn around. Things will get figured out with the tariffs. So just gotta be patient, I think. Let's see. Matt, buddy, thanks for coming in here. Is Bitfufu going to take market share this year? How much, if so? I don't really cover Bitfufu. I don't know where they're at right now. Are they going to take market share? Depending on how much they're growing, then yeah, there's a possibility that they're going to take some market share from somebody. Somebody's not growing. So, but that's an interesting question there. I may have to look into that one. All right. And then, is now a good time to buy Mara? Yeah, I think it is. I think a lot of these guys have bottomed out here recently, unless the markets go down even further because of something that Trump says towards the tariffs or something else. I think right now we're pretty close to the bottom as it is. So I think any of these guys would be a good buy right now if you're looking to get into them. Not financial advice, as always. Okay. Let's see. Matt also asks here, Bitfufu King and Kang, how serious are they? Can they take market share? Well, Kango basically bought miners from Bitmain, which Bitmain was hosting with a hosting provider. Basically, they were their machines, but Kango bought those from them for, was it like 500 some million, I think it was. They're not the latest generation miners. They're some of the previous generation miners, I believe, based on just what I was able to figure out on it. And so they're not really taking market share from anybody, just from Bitmain, really. As far as BitFufu, I'll have to look into BitFufu as far as what's going on there. But yeah, it just all depends how fast they grow. But Kango is an interesting one. I think they're divesting themselves of their current business, which is auto loans, I believe. They're selling that portion out, and they're focusing directly on Bitcoin mining. The only thing with them is they don't own any infrastructure. So everything that they have right now is all hosted with somebody else. So they're probably paying a little bit of a higher price for that than somebody like IREN or Cleanspark or even Mara or Riot that have their own infrastructure in place and have better probably electricity rates than that. All right. Let's see. KB Dub says, question, I love you. Love you too. Thanks for coming in here. What else we got here? I think that's it. It's going to be a pretty short, sweet show tonight. Yeah, like I said earlier in the show, beginning, I think investors are just exhausted right now. Based on just what I'm seeing here, and I don't blame them. It's been rough. It's been tough on everybody here. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how things play out going forward. I think they're going to be much better towards the end of the year than they are right now. All right. How high Bitfarms and Hive? How high can they go? I would say at the very least, if Bitcoin goes at least a 2x from where it's at right now to finish out the year, I would say, I would think they would do at least a 3x. So where they are right now, multiply it times 3, I think that's kind of where they could possibly go. That would be kind of like the bottom of things. 2x, I would say, would be like the bare minimum I think they would do, just following Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes up to 160, 180,000, whatever it might be. All right. Love Guru says, thanks for all the lovely updates. You're very welcome. Karen can do, yeah, okay, talked about that one. Okay, question here. Between Hive, Hut, BitDigital, and BitDeer, which would you buy? Good question there. Okay, so there's some pluses and negatives to all these guys here. Hive has good growth here this year, getting to 25 exahash. Hut 8 is working on HPC business, right? They're supposed to be building out a data center in Louisiana, so that might be something interesting there. BitDigital is pivoting more into data centers where they have HPC as well. They're buying these smaller sites, a couple megawatts, and they're continuing to execute on that plan and just getting customers to do those things. So they're doing really good also. The other one was, let's see, Hut, BitDigital, talked about BitDeer. BitDeer also has a lot of growth happening later on this year and into next year. They also generate or create their own ASICs, which is a plus because you're getting them at cost basically. And then they're also selling them to customers. Based on all of these guys here, that's a tough one. Hive, I love the growth there. Hut 8 is divesting themselves of the Bitcoin mining side of the business, sending that over into American BTC. BitDigital, gosh, it's hard to tell. With any of these guys, I think it's going to be just one good news story away from these things rocketing up higher. I don't know which one it would be. I actually like all of these guys here for different reasons. So depending on what you're looking for, if you're looking for growth, I would go with Hive in Bitcoin mining. If you're looking for HPC AI potential, then it's kind of a toss-up between Hut 8 and BitDigital there. Who gets more customers, bigger customers potentially? That might move that one up. And BitDeer, I think is just a good play long-term, more or less. Like I said, going into the second half of this year and into next year. They got a lot of megawatts under development. They're going to be coming online here later on this year and next year. And so they're going to be growing like crazy too. And then they also make their own ASICs. So that's a tough one for me. All right, let's see. We got some more questions coming in here. When will we hit 100,000? I think we'll be back maybe in May. Maybe. I would think somewhere around May we would be back there. All right. Let's see. SK says, as per M2 Global Money Supply, it's showing 125 by June, 144 by July. Nice, right? If it works out that way, that's going to be fantastic. Let's see. Don't miners have a tendency to drop over the summer months when they are more easily manipulated as volume is low? I would have to look into that. I'm not sure if that's the case. But you might be right. Maybe they do go down lower. I mean, sell in May and go away, right? Come back in September or August, something like that. It's usually the term. So that might be the case. We'll have to wait and see. But I think Bitcoin going up, I think they might go up with it. Hi Z asks, are we screwed? I don't think we're screwed just yet. I don't think the cycle is over yet with Bitcoin. If we were at this stage at the end of this year, then I would say maybe we're screwed. But we still have basically, 7 more months to go before the end of the year. So I don't think it's done yet. Why did Trump choose Hut 8 over an American miner like Cleanspark? Well, I don't think Cleanspark would have gave them the megawatts there, or one, the megawatts that they want to grow with, and two, the ASICs that they have, right? So, and they're both based in, I think, Miami. I think Hut 8 is based in Miami right now. So there's some maybe closer connection to those guys, and maybe it just worked out better. But I don't think Cleanspark would have wanted to part with some of their ASICs there. All right. I said, how much depreciation will Cleanspark have to show on their Bitcoin value for the last quarter? I am working on those numbers right now, but it's going to be at least, I'm guessing around 100 million, somewhere around there right now, but I'm got to get into it some more as far as what they added on the last 3 quarters or last 3 months, and then what the value was at, I have to work through it. So we'll probably do that during the week sometime. All right. When the miner's moon, will you adopt me? Sure, I'll adopt you as a surrogate son. I'm guessing you're a boy there. Right. Don says, we are not screwed yet. Please be patient and wait your turn. Everybody's been waiting their turn, I think. And we just keep waiting and waiting with the miners right now. Let's see. Question, weren't you going to look at state of adoption by states? Yes, I'm still looking into that. I have some mixed data on it. I got to reach out to the Satoshi Action Fund there to see what kind of data they have. I've been trying to look through their website. They've been really critical in getting a lot of these bills passed through the states and things like that. So I'm trying to find more data on it. So that is on my to-do list as well. But like I said, I'm getting some mixed data as far as how many states are on board already, things like that. So I just want to have good data for you guys. All right. How many ASICs do Cleanspark and IREN still have to import? All right, we can take a look at that. Cleanspark said, I listened to Harry on with, what is it, Macro to Miner. They had a X stream today. And I listened to a portion, well, actually I listened to all of it. But he said that they have all their miners in now. And so they don't have to worry about the tariffs or anything like that impacting them. So I don't think that's going to have any impact there. Now let's take a look at Cleanspark based on what they have and where they're getting to. Let's see, you have a total of 276,000 miners here currently, and then plugged in is currently, how many do we have plugged in? 276. They got 218 miners plugged in right now, 276. So we're looking at what, 60,000 more miners that they need to get plugged in, roughly. So they're saying that they already have those in past, I'm guessing customs is based on what I heard. IREN, I'm not sure as far as how much they have already in the United States past customs, but it looks like they're getting to about 264,000 machines, and they currently have, let's see, 264, so at 212, so let's just say 50,000 more machines that they need to get in, roughly. They might have less than that, but that's kind of where I see things right now as they stand. Okay, there's that. Let's go back here. Nope, didn't want that one. Wanted this one. Alrighty, what other questions do we have? Talked about that one, talked about that one, talked about that one. Okay, question. Do you see Cleanspark and Mara reaching $30 and $70 respectively? $70 per, I mean, that's kind of where my kind of targets were originally for Mara. Cleanspark was also a little bit higher. But that would be roughly for them getting, well, Mara would be, what would that be? A 5x roughly from where they are right now. Cleanspark would be also like a more, like a 5x for them as well, close to that 4 to 5x. If Bitcoin goes to like 200, 250,000, might be a possibility. But I'm not 100% sure on it. Depending on how investors and the shorts are in these two stocks. Right now, Cleanspark and Mara are the two most shorted out of these guys. So do the shorts relent eventually? and let these things run, well, then maybe we could see those types of prices, maybe even higher, and in Bitcoin runs as well. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it right now. All right. Question, been almost a year since the halving. Does the halving actually matter this cycle besides wrecking the miners? Well, it always matters, right? You're always going to have a decrease in revenue from day one when the halving goes through. Cuts the revenue in half. So that makes it challenging for them. So that's kind of why I expected miners to drop into it and afterwards. But I expected miners to kind of pick back up a little bit here. But we've had some headwinds. We've had the HPC AI businesses get wrecked a little bit because of DeepSeek, and then all the FUD kind of surrounding the less demand for not Bitcoin, but for HPC data centers. That's drove those stocks down as well. And then the pure play miners just didn't do that well to begin with, even with Bitcoin getting 209,000 at a high. But that's because they've been beaten down by shorts, unfortunately. So yeah, but again, I still think that we have another 7 months to go before the end of the year before I think the cycle historically would be over with. Right? If we have an extended cycle, then we could be in a different story where these things could possibly go up higher in a longer time frame as well. We'll have to wait and see. All right. Talked about that. Talked about this a little bit as well. Why did Eric Trump choose to partner with Hut 8 over an American miner like Cleanspark? Like I said, Hut 8 seems like they wanted to get out of Bitcoin mining for a while. And it might have just worked out that way where they can partner with them, right? Do it that way. Whereas Cleanspark does not want to part with their ASICs. They want to continue to increase that, make it even bigger and larger there going forward. So I think that's the reason why. Hiseb, I like your math style. Back in December, your math said Bitfarms 1520, BTC gets to 180,000. Now your math is saying $2 to $3. Where's your formula? Thanks. The formula has, I'm sandbagging a lot more because I got so many people, complaining that I went maybe a little too high. That's where I would think they would be valued at, but that didn't work out that way, right? So it still might work out that way. I don't know by the end of the year, but I'm just sandbagging it right now just to kind of temper down expectations. If we get way above that, it's all going to be bonus, right? So if we can do that, we'll be great. Let's see. Seeing miners cap their exahash for mining, does 50 exahash become the top? Mara is still increasing. We don't know how much they're going to increase, but they're saying that they're going to continue to increase here. I mean, they could get to, 60, 70 exahash by the end of the year. Cleanspark also, I think, has said they're getting to like 56, 58 exahash. They could possibly go beyond that as well. So I don't know if 50x is the top. But yeah, we're not getting really a lot of forward guidance from these guys like we did at least the prior years. Each prior year they were like, we're getting to 15 exahash. Then the following year we're getting to 50 exahash. It's like you saw this kind of growth happening here, but we're not seeing that this year. And the only reason I can think of is maybe a lot of these guys are thinking that the cycle historically would end this year, so you don't want to be putting in too much capital into right now when you can have the machines that you have now get to where you want to get to, have those run through into the top of the cycle, and then possibly go back into another bear market with Bitcoin. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think we're going to have an extended cycle. We'll see if that works out. So I think that's the only reason why they're kind of being hush about it right now. They just don't want to put out too big of expectations and to put out too much capital if it turns out to be the same cycle like as before. All right. Let's see. Andre says tomorrow Bitcoin minus 500 miners minus 10%. Next day Bitcoin plus 2,000 miners is up 2.5%. Yeah, it's not always that way the case. Sometimes the miners actually front run Bitcoin. We've seen that before as well. Let's see. Gary says, Seb, you didn't estimate too high. The market failed to deliver the price you estimated. Well, that's one way to look at it as well, right? That's more of a positive side to look at things. My estimates were estimates, right? The market didn't deliver. I can't force the market to go where I think it should go. I'd love to be able to do that. You guys would be happy as well. I would be happy. But yeah, the market is what the market is, unfortunately, and you just got to play a part of it. All right, so let's see. Do we have any other questions? It does not look like it. So we'll call it a day. We're going for half an hour. That's good enough. Good enough for me. Yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be another day. Let's see. Mortem says, got a quote here. Plan B thinks we have 7 months left and we go to 300,000. Hard to believe unless Bo Hines is right about using tariff revenue to buy Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, Plan B, I've seen that. Well, at least the stock to flow model, which is right here, right? Based on that, you would, I mean, it looks like we're going to like 300 some odd thousand based on this. And yeah, I still think we have about another 7 more months to go in this cycle before everything tops out. Then we may have another pullback, about 30%. And then it's going to last another, you know, that 30% pullback is going to last 3 to 4 months. And then we possibly go back up higher. I'm thinking we might extend the cycle, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Let's see, go back here. Yep, so we'll see if there's anything else. Let's see, do you still see an altcoin season this cycle? There might be a small one, but I think it's going to be much muted than what we've seen in the past. You know, people have gotten ripped off on those things in the past, have moved on. I think there's less people interested in those things now. There's a lot more opportunities to go, you know, long Bitcoin, 2x Bitcoin, 3x Bitcoin, whatever you want to do. You got the ETFs, you got MicroStrategy, you got miners. There's a lot more things that you can play around Bitcoin, where Bitcoin's dominance continues to increase. It's almost at 63% right now as it is, and Bitcoin's down a little bit right now on this one. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, Bitcoin is just taking market share from all of these guys here, right? So there might be some ones that still pop really good, but and others that don't. But overall, Bitcoin's just going to continue to take the market share of the other altcoins as time goes on. All right. Let's see. LB says BitDeer and Hive have the most potential price-wise for 2025, not a financial advice. Based on what I'm seeing for Hive and their growth here, I would agree. I just want to see their price to mine a Bitcoin come way down, because right now it's a little too high for me. But that will happen with scale, and they got to get to scale, and getting to 25 exahash I think is going to help them to get there as it is. So, let's see. That's it. We'll call it a day, guys and gals. Thank you so much for coming in here as always. We'll see what we can cover tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll either cover the states and the implementation of Bitcoin, how far along they are, if I can get the data on it. If not, we'll look at, what was the other thing we're going to look at? We're going to look at something else. But we'll cover it tomorrow, whatever it might be. All right. Greatly appreciate you guys coming in here. If you guys enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. Love you all. I will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, have a great night and a great day tomorrow.